Hey, we're progressing on our renovation here and I'm doing some woodwork, so that's the good thing. And the other thing is we're going to do this interior window frame here. I'm going to line it and finish it the old school way. I'll show you how that's done. So basically we have the windows in the rough opening here, and well, the word rough opening is exactly that. It's hopefully the windows are in level. So if someone else has put the windows in, you have to work with that. If you've put your own windows in, you can spend a little bit more time leveling them and plumbing them. That really helps when it comes to finishing. So the old school way of finishing windows is to line them all with wood and case them all with wood. How to get the wood lined up. Finishing the window out, one of the things is shims, key element shims. I basically just take out some 2x4, some spruce, some soft wood, and run it through the table saw as thin as I can possibly make it. So it's about 1/8, maybe slightly less. I make a whole series of these, and then I just keep them in my pocket or keep them in a box. And basically what's going to happen is the whole inside of the window frame gets a whole series of shims, different thicknesses, so that when you put your finished wood on, it all looks even. Okay, so here we have the inside of the jamb. I have maybe 3/8 of an inch, half an inch to pack this out. One issue to watch out for too is with the casement style window, you have the winder. You need clearance for that. I ran into a situation where I had a really thick windowsill and I had to wrap it around so that the handle cleared. But in this case I've packed it out far enough and I'm using a thin stock material. So these shims basically go right in here. I basically just shim it out even with the vinyl all the way around, so that when you put your shim in, you're flush with the vinyl. Then when your finished material goes in, it covers the vinyl, but then you have an equal reveal around the perimeter. So we're talking about doing the old school window sills and trim in window openings. So basically that's what the sill looks like. This is for one of the other rooms. Basically just a 1x8 or 2x8, or in this case it's 5/4 by about 6. And I essentially just mark that and cut it where it fits around the rough opening. Once the sill is in, you can then start building all your frames off that. So you can see here we have this sill already in. Basically what I did is I hold it up against the wall here and mark out where I have to notch it so that when it drops in, it fits tight to the wall on both sides. So that's step one. And then fastening that in so that it's level and straight. And another thing I do when I install the windows, I actually raise their sills by 1.5 inches so that I have an extra 1.5 inches under the window here. Basically then it gives you lots of room to have a sill and to wedge it in. I have run into a problem where there wasn't enough room for the window crank, got a little bit thick. So this way the windows are sitting up and the sill tucks in underneath, and then all the sides and the trim drop down on top. So basically we have the liner on the inside of this window here. It's 3.5 inches wide, and I always install the sill first. And the second thing you do is build the header. So this is the header, and it's going to fit in right up above here. Okay, so I'm making this notch in this header piece here, and I'm just going to do that mostly on the chop saw and finish it off with a jigsaw. So one of the tricks here is I just take a 1x4 or 2x4, whatever you have, put something behind the material, and since I don't want to cut all the way through, I want to be careful where I'm cutting, but I cut it on edge so that I can see where I'm cutting basically, and then extra material in the back just packs this forward out a little bit so you get a flatter cut. So basically then I just make the two side cuts as deep as I want to go on the face, and then on my chop saw here I just have these extension 2x4s there, so the piece lays quite nicely on that, and then you can see where you're cutting. So here's this piece I made for the header, got the notch cut out, and basically it fits right in up above here. So it should be fairly flush with the wall and even amount of window showing. And the completion of the old school window, I made this nice box piece here that caps off the post. I pre-cut that and bare-thined it, stained it, all that good stuff. So now I'll just get ready to nail it off and we'll have a traditional looking old school window. And then the header trim, I basically, for this style here, I added on 1.5 inches in total, so that gives you a 3/4 inch overhang on both sides. Of course, you have the option to do whatever you want casing wise. This is only 2 3/8 or 2.5. It might look better if it was maybe 3 inches. And the header, 3/4 inch overhang both sides. And then I usually allow like anywhere from 3/16 to 1/4 here on the Reason Reveals. And that looks good. You can have less. I generally don't have more. And you want to make sure too with the top header, if you keep nailing the top, it tends to push it back like this, opening up these. That's what I do is at the end I just shove a wedge in behind here, or put a wedge in behind, and then put a couple of finishing nails in, and then it doesn't push it back. So I'll probably do that because it is flexing a bit. So there we have it, that's the completed window.